welcome to the show, Future Millionaires. Today, we're going to be talking with the EMP team, also potentially the Layer1X team as well, which is the project we're going to be diving into, which is the potential next big blockchain in the crypto space. So we're going to wait a little bit. We know there's a few second lag whenever you go live. So for those that's watching right now, I want to say thanks for tuning in. Also, let me know how the audio and how the video quality sounds before we go ahead and bring up our guests and go into today's content. All right. And we are live on my end. Audio sounds pretty good. Give me a thumbs up or just let me know down in the live stream if the audio sounds good. Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Appreciate it. So yeah, the project we're talking about today is Layer1X. And this project isn't launched yet. It's a brand new Layer 1 blockchain that's been worked on for the past 2.5 years. And they just now kind of started to release information, to the public over the past, few months. So I'm very excited to talk to the team. It's Layer1X, EMP Money, and then it's also Dex Finance. So all three of these projects are going to be in a partnership, and we're going to talk about how all of that works as well. Yo, audio and video looking good, sound sharp. MTI, appreciate it, Vino Mystic. L1X is going to shake up the crypto space. Man, it has some really, really big claims. So I'm really excited to talk to them to see what's going on. Full interoperability without having the uses of bridges. I think that is huge because I believe last year there was like a $1 to $2 billion that was lost in the fact of, doing bridges, right? Because it puts your, crypto assets a little bit more at a risk whenever you do that. So it's nice to see a blockchain that, says they can do full interoperability, no bridge. The most the fee is supposed to be is around 1 cent or less. And then also being able to do around up to or more than 100,000 transactions per second. So very excited to talk to them as well. Their testnet is live and the blockchain will go live later on this year. So really excited to talk to them about that. Shang, sup, what's going on? What's going on? Take a drink of water real fast. All right. So yeah, just waiting for some of the guests to come on in so I can go ahead and let them on for today. And AJ, great dude. And one thing that kind of drew me to this project as well is that EMP is, invested into this project personally. So that, definitely brought attention to me because I think they're a pretty great DeFi project, been here well over a year. And for them to be able to do and what they accomplished so far, and for them to kind of give them the stamp of approval, it definitely made me look into this project a lot more. So excited to talk to them regarding that. How's everybody doing today, though? We got about 19 to 20 people currently watching. How's everybody doing today on this Tuesday afternoon? Well, at least afternoon for me. I'm CST time. Yeah. All right. So real quick, let's see. Settings. All right, 1 second. All right, let's see later. Back. We got Graves says bullish. Man, what I hear so far and what their claims are, I think it is pretty bullish. Of course, we still got Pulse Chain that's going to be coming as well. But I'm really excited to talk about Layer1X, the full interoperability, the security of it, where they supposedly also have built-in security where it's able to basically see potential threats, potential anomalies that's on the blockchain, and pretty much stop it before it happens. So I'm excited to really dig in and figure out what's going on with layer 1x. Check my thing real quick. So I'm reading the message right now. Maybe a little bit because of internet outage. It happens. So we may be on, a few minutes later. So I guess we can go ahead and talk about layer 1x based off of what I know. And then if he's able to come on for this stream, then we'll be able to get a little bit more details regarding what's going on. But they just sent me a message on Twitter, maybe a little bit. Apparently the internet is cut off. He's getting his wife to unplug the box and reboot it. And so that it works out. So cool. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and pull this up. So basically, layer 1x is a layer 1 blockchain, and it uses a consensus mechanism that supports scalability and also full interoperability without having to use bridges, right? I think that is huge because now pretty much what the team is saying, investors, from an investor standpoint, we don't have to worry about switching from this chain to this chain, which also cuts out a little bit of a learning curve for newer investors, which I think is huge for adoption. And so when you take a look at how they're able to use interoperability with just one wallet and everything is held on that chain, I think it's huge because they've already said they have full interoperability with EVM chains as well as non-EVM chains. And so layer 1x is its own virtual machine, is what EVM stands for. EVM is Ethereum virtual machine for people that may not know. And then VM is just virtual machine. And so with that being said, it's very interesting to see how this project is going to do. I believe they're also going to have their own token, of course. That's going to be the governance token. That's going to be the gas token as well. And they're going to have a DEX as well built in with Dex Finance and EMP Money. That's also going to use the L1X token. So the token of the layer 1x chain blockchain is going to be L1X. So not only is it going to be used for the gas fees on the blockchain, governance and things of that nature, but it's also going to be used for the main DEX for layer 1x. So I think that's also pretty bullish as well. So let's see. Let's move in. I got a little graph I'm gonna show you guys here real quick. I kind of got some of the main, layer 1 blockchains here. Give me 1 second. Let's pull this up. Let's see. Pull this one up. Let's see. All right. Come on. So if you look right here, let's see. Let's go back to that. All right. So let me blow this up a little bit so y'all can see. So if you look right here, here's basically kind of like a comparison chart based off of Polkadot, Cosmos, layer 0, and then we have layer 1x, which is what we're talking about today. So layer 0 uses a bridge, Cosmos, Polkadot all use layer 1s, and then of course layer 1x is a layer 1 as well. When you look at the transaction fee, you can see the transaction fee at the max for them is supposed to be a penny or less. So for example, let's say you're sending $100,000 over to another wallet. The max you would pay on that for far as a gas fee would be potentially 1 penny or less, which I think is huge. When you look at the scalability here, transactions per second, also known as TPS, you can see up to 100K, up to 100K. You got layer 0, NA, not applicable. And then you have layer 1X, which is up to 100K or potentially a little bit more. When you look at the seconds as well, based off of the transaction, you can see 1.2 seconds. So the blockchain is supposed to be pretty fast as well. Native virtual machine, so it's using its own code that's built in. And according to the team, they have been building this for the past, 2.5 years or so. So this is not something that they just kind of started. So they already had the test net and all of that live prior to doing, the private sale, and then the public sale will be coming up as well. So that is something nice to see, because we have seen blockchains in the past that would, raise money. However, they wouldn't have all of the tech actually built. So it's nice to see that they actually have the tech built as they get ready to, as they're, raising money now. So something I did like to see as well, just kind of from an ethical standpoint. But some of the major standpoints and key features here is just on this chart that I just briefly wanted to show you guys regarding layer 1X. Now, let's see, let me go back over. So yeah, so layer 1X, man, is going to be good. There's going to be a pre-sale as well. Now, if you do the pre-sale, you are going to be vested for 15 months, and you're going to get like 1/5 of what you invested dispersed each month for 15 months until you get your full amount that you invested. And then there's going to be a public sale that's going to be at 50 cents compared to the 10 cents of the private sale. Now, they've already, I believe, have about 6.5 million committed to the 10 million. And so with that being said, man, it's you can see there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of hype, and a lot of belief already into this project. And one thing I like as well with the private sale, anybody can get into the private sale. You don't have to be a VC, or anything of that nature, venture capitalist, or anybody with just, multi-millions of dollars. If you got, a little bit of money, you can get in. The minimum is like $100 and the max is 50K. So definitely reasonable for pretty much anybody to get in that's interested or that may have a belief in what this project or blockchain could do. So yeah, we would definitely have to redo this stream though, for real, because I want to get I definitely want to get the team on here. Jake from Dex Finance, Montu from layer 1X, and then AJ from EMP Money. So I want to get all three of them on, just because it's nice to have all of them touch on different angles where they're more fluent at in this project and how everything comes together. I watched quite a few AMAs already with the team, and how they kind of talked about how it's different as well. Like when you talk about, for example, some people may say, well, Mike, how is this different from other chains such as like 𝗤𝗏chain or something of that nature, where 𝗤𝗏chain, I know they kind of use simultaneously, transactions on each chain compared to it being full interoperable on layer 1X, where it's actually doing it for you and doing it together. So it's not, doing the transaction on blockchain A and then doing on it on blockchain B. With layer 1X, supposedly it's able to do it on blockchain A and B all within that same transaction. So making it a lot more secure. So I will definitely like the team to come on and just kind of, break down the details and all of that, and kind of like what their experience has been, working with other chains, because there's always kind of like a community roar when it comes to, this blockchain is going to be the king, this blockchain is better than this blockchain. So how does layer 1X kind of, stack up to that competition that comes, with this type of territory? So it'd be very nice just to kind of have them touch on that, man, as well. We got LA from the EMP team. Mike, you're a champion. She says, sorry, AJ is a little late, folks. The squirrels are at it again. He'll be on shortly. It is all good. It is all good. Things happen. It is technology. Things are good. And I know, I believe Jake is traveling as well. So we definitely have to get him back on the show as well. Let's go back. Let me show y'all something here real quick. So here's how the pre-sale will look real quick for those that may know. Also, all of the socials is down in the description. This pre-sale site will also be in the description as well. Their Discord, their Telegram website, all of that. So definitely, of course, always do your own research. But as you can see, pre-sale is 10 cents. Launch price is going to be 50 cents. And so you can see right there, that's already a 5X. And so with that already being a 5X, this is also kind of why they have people that's in the pre-sale is going to be linear vested over 15 months, right? They're only going to get a little bit of those tokens each month for 15 months until they get all of it based off of what they invested. And that also helps support tokens being dumped on the community as well, because think about it, some people that's already going to have a 5X is going to naturally want to take profits. And so it's nice to see that they kind of have this in place as well. Hard cap is 5 million, 50 million tokens. Minimum is $100 per wallet. Max is 50K per wallet. So very nice to see. They've already raised 1.3 million out of the 6.5 that they have committed based off of investors out of the full 10 million. So nice to see the demand for the project. That is always a good sign. Always a good sign. All right. But yeah, so just kind of waiting on, see if AJ will be able to make it on. I know when you're having internet troubles, it can definitely be kind of hit or miss depending on what happens. But yeah, I'm excited though. I'm excited to see what this blockchain can do. Definitely excited to see what this blockchain can do. Says he should be on in about 5 minutes. Sounds good. Sounds good. But yeah, so any questions though, based off of anything I may have covered regarding Layer 1X that potentially I probably, can answer. Maybe I can be a little bit more clear if you need a little bit more information on something I covered regarding Layer 1X. Can you pull it up on Twitter, Mike? Yep. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. So sent you some on Twitter. Can you pull it up? Anyone else selling feed pics to get into? Oh man, that's funny. And I had actually a lot of people as well reach out to me personally and DM, hey Mike, have you heard about L1X? Have you got into it? So it's it definitely has some demand, and that's definitely something you want to see as well. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Okay. Give me 1 second. LA just sent me something that I can pull up for you guys. LA said, Vahaha. Bullish. Yeah, man. I like what I'm hearing, man. I like what I'm hearing. Really big claims, really big claims. It looks like we got AJ who just joined us here. So give me a couple seconds so he can get prepared and ready to go. Should be on here in a couple seconds here. And so yeah, LA just sent me this from the EMP team, which can kind of, break down a little bit more what LX is, Layer 1X is. So let's go ahead and bring on AJ here. Mr. AJ, how are you doing today, man?
Mike, what's up, brother? Man, I am so sorry, bro. Never a dull moment, right? In crypto or in the technological age, I was having some internet issues, but we're good to go, man. Happy to be on the show. How are you, my friend?
Dude, I'm doing awesome, man. I am doing awesome. Really excited to talk about Layer 1X, man. I know it's been a lot of excitement regarding this launching and just everything coming out, man. We're the ETA I know is this year for the actual full public mainnet.
For
And
sure.
there's some really big claims as well, of course, regarding Layer 1X. So really just excited to kind of break down those details and kind of talk about what makes Layer 1X different, from the other, blockchains that are out there, right? Because there's a lot that come with this space and come with this territory. So kind of talk to us in your perspective, just a high overview of what is Layer 1X.
Absolutely, bro. So again, I couldn't agree with you more. We talk about it a lot in our community that, there really there's enough blockchains out there. And even if you have an amazing blockchain, if nobody is building on it, it doesn't really matter. And so, I think L1X solves all of that. And that's why we are super excited for L1X and what the potential that it has. And again, I mean, it is all there are some big claims, and I think people get a little bit skeptical on whether or not L1X can deliver on everything that they say they can. But they have a working test net right now, which is even more proof in the pudding of this actually becoming a reality. So, what is L1X? L1X is a brand new layer one blockchain that truly has solved interoperability. And so, what is that word? What does interoperability mean? Well, that's basically a fancy word that allows all the blockchains to speak and communicate with each other without needing to use a bridge. And so this is again pretty revolutionary, and especially in terms of DeFi. We're always trying to find the next best opportunity. I know myself. I'm using bridges every day, and bridging is not only expensive and slow, but it's also a security risk. I mean, every time that you send your crypto to a bridge, you hope that it shows up on another chain. And last year alone, over $2 billion was hacked through bridge exploits. So a layer one X has not only solved the issue of being able to transfer between chains using a native technology, meaning there is an initiation and a receipt of that transaction on L1X itself, as well as the chain that you're going from to the chain that you're going to. So it's essentially the same sort of process that a bridge uses, but it's all based on actual native tokens where you're not having to give your tokens to a third party. So again, it's really awesome stuff. And overall, the throughput, the scalability. I mean, they're doing 100,000 transactions a second, which is on par with the fastest chains out there. So, and another really cool thing in terms of their security, anybody that is using L1X qualifies as a validator. So this means not only can anything connected to the internet be a validator, but even your phone, your smart watch, your TV, and so this really decentralizes the network over potentially millions, if not billions, of validators that are processing these transactions. So again, man, it's a lot going on. I know, for us, it's very revolutionary, and I think if L1X can deliver on even half of what they're saying, I think it could really change the way we operate in DeFi for sure.
Yeah, and when you say full interoperability, no bridges, and then also that means, if I'm hearing all of this correct, that also DApps as well, decentralized applications that are built on other chains or even Layer 1X will be able to be used with other chains instead of just transferring of the assets interoperability. Is that correct?
That is, Mike. Man, you do your homework, brother. So yeah, not only are we talking interoperability in terms of tokens, but now these dApps or DApps are able to communicate with each other. It's also the logic is also interoperable. So back to my point earlier about typically if nobody's building on the chain, then it doesn't matter how awesome the blockchain is. Well, with L1X, you can literally update about 3 lines of code in your smart contract, and then it will be able to process the logic and the validation from L1X itself. So if you're a developer, now I don't have to start over on a new chain or relaunch my project, which again, that's what everybody has to do. 𝗟𝗘𝗗𝗚𝗏 is a great example. 𝗟𝗘𝗏𝗏's blowing up, but if you're going to have your own dApp on there, you have to build it from the ground up. Well, now with L1X, you can just update a few lines of code and have access to all the capital, all the community, all the applications that are on these individual chains. So, I made a joke a little earlier in some of these AMAs that said L1X was gonna the chain to rule them all, but really L1X is the chain to unite them all, and so that is really the power of what we can see here, where it's no longer a competition of what chain is better. It's using L1X to unite all the chains. So yeah, again, that's what I'm super excited about.
Yeah, and so to piggyback off what you said, AJ, and I'm kind of glad you went there because that is one of the questions I have here is kind of, and I know Layer 1X team will be a little bit more fit to talk about this, but
For
based
sure.
off of your knowledge, what has been the relationship with Layer 1X and working with other chains? Because I was talking about a little bit earlier on the stream before you came on, is kind of how, there's like this somewhat of a cult when it comes to certain blockchains, right? Whereas this blockchain is the only
Totally.
blockchain, or this blockchain is better than your blockchain. And so, how you talked about Layer 1X can kind of bring everyone together. What puts them kind of in that position where they don't per se have to compete with other blockchains that kind of take away from what comes with this territory, if you will?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and you're 100% right, Mike. I'm very close with the team. And we'll get into this later. We've been awarded the launch DEX contract for building the actual launch DEX on L1X. But again, everything I say, please definitely go ask in the L1X Discord as well. But to your point, I mean, everything I'm hearing is that projects have been eager to build with L1X because again they have streamlined this process that developers don't have to start over. As long as their code is based on Solidity, which is the Ethereum virtual machine, or Solana, which is Rust based. Those code languages are easily ported over to be on L1X native, and even if you're not using L1X, that interoperability, and this is where I think, to your point, it's very bullish, is because L1X is also able to facilitate the validation or transactions on the chains individually. So, in other words, say you're on Ethereum mainnet, but you don't have any ETH. Or you forgot to, ask your buddy to send you some BNB for gas. L1X is actually able to convert the L1X token into whatever gas fee is on those native DEX or those native chains to facilitate the transactions. So really, uh, ETH and BNB and all the other chains, they're still getting their fees because of that. They're again, L1X is still paying the validation on the chain. So in that respect, there is no downside to the other chains. They're not missing out on any money. If anything, they're getting more volume because now it's much more capital efficient. So again, imagine being on Polygon, but now having access to all the ETH whales and all that capital, that's on ETH or BNB. It doesn't matter what chain you're on. So again, I think the adoption and the getting around that cult mentality will happen very organically because there's nothing being taken away from the chains themselves.
Well said, well said. And I got another question as well, but real quick, shout out to Space Chick Crypto. She's a women's content creator, makes awesome crypto content. So Definitely go subscribe and check out some of her content. She makes a lot of good content. Appreciate you stopping by today. Space for
Awesome.
crypto.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Right on.
And so, a question I want to get to real quick before we get a little bit further, AJ, is do you know the token allocation breakdown of the 1 billion tokens? And I do have it quickly here for us, where it talks about like how it's going to be distributed. So, do you have anything that maybe you want to add to this, AJ, that people should know? Because a lot of people kind of wonder, like, how's all of this going to work? How's the inflation of the token going to work, and all of that? So, can you kind of touch on that a little bit for us, AJ? Regarding
Totally.
the tokenomics for L1X token.
Yeah,
Native token.
absolutely. So I'm really, and this is another thing that gets me really bullish on L1X. Their tokenomics are phenomenal. So they hired Prism Group, which is the same independent firm that did all the tokenomics for ETH. They did all the tokenomics for Polygon, Matic, all the big chains. They've done their tokenomics, and I've never seen the breakdown that L1X has. And so the total supply, max total supply is 1 billion tokens,
Mhm.
but the large majority of those are vested over 30 years. So the long vesting schedule really allows the chain to scale without having that crazy inflation, that we see with a lot of smaller chains. So that is really bullish. Even the pre-sale, which we'll talk about at the very end here, on how you can get involved with L1X, even the pre-sale tokens are vested. So on launch, there's only going to be about 50 million tokens in circulation, $50 million worth of tokens in circulation. So that puts the fully diluted market cap at 50 million, which is very low for a native
Yeah.
L1 chain. I mean, again, most other chains are in the billions of
Mhm.
market cap for actual chains. So again, I like the tokenomics. I think that it will help, secure the non pump and dump that receive a lot of other
Yeah.
project based token economics, and it will also help it scale. And really, L1X becomes deflationary over time as well, because the way they have the fees broken down is that all the L1X fees, and by the way, the L1X fees are only a maximum of 1 cent. So again, we're talking very affordable fees, which opens up L1X to even be a payment gateway. A lot of people say, well, crypto is great, but I can't use it in the real world. Well, L1X could potentially solve that, because you're not waiting 20 minutes for a Bitcoin validation, and you're not paying, $10 ETH fees for an ETH transaction. So having a maximum 1 cent and the high throughput, again, over 100,000 transactions per second, could really solve a lot of the real world, usability as well. But yeah, to what I was saying, the fees, a portion of all the L1X fees will go to the L1X Foundation, which in the beginning they'll be using that to give away grants to pay for developers and projects to come over. But once they have the chain up and running and things are built out, then that grant program will transition into burning L1X. So over time, it actually becomes deflationary as well. So again, really bullish in terms of token economics.
Well said. And I think this is a great segue as well to kind of talk about the relationship between Layer 1X, EMP Money, and Dex Finance. So talk about, because I know you and Dex Finance are coming together to build the native Dex for the Layer 1X blockchain. So we've kind of talked about what to expect for Layer 1X. So now let's talk about Dex Finance and how also the native token for Dex Finance is going to be the L1X native token. So I think that really puts a lot of user pressure and buy pressure on the token as well. So kind of talk to us about that, AJ.
Absolutely, Mike. Yeah, bro. And again, I mean, every little bit, like we've been in the DeFi world so long that we see all the downfalls that other projects and chains have had, and we're doing everything we can to alleviate that. So, to your point, we've been around the block. We've kind of established ourselves as one of the more trustworthy DeFi protocols, and we've been working with Dex Finance for about 6 months now behind the scenes. They're another seniors protocol that has they are pegged to a stable asset, their US Dex, which is again 1 to 1 for a dollar, and they have never lost peg. I think they lost pay for about 2 hours, about 2 weeks ago, and they've been around over a year now. So again, they're also leaders in the space, and we were always trying to figure out how we can work together, what a partnership would look like, but nothing really came to fruition until L1X. So we at EMP had an opportunity to invest into L1X very early on. One of our army members is actually now a team member over at L1X, and so we got our foot in the door then, and I signed a non-disclosure agreement with L1X. I looked at the code. We did a bunch of due diligence with them, and I was blown away with what I saw. So that being said, I always had in the back of my mind that we wanted to build on top of L1X regardless. And because of interoperability, I thought a DEX would be so powerful because now you have access to all the chains and all the capital on all the chains. So we put a proposal together, and again, we were just going to build on our own, Dex Finance and EMP partnering up, but we presented that to L1X, and they actually awarded us the launch Dex. So that was really bullish. Again, we have a lot of unique ideas. We're using some of the software as a service that we have developed at EMP, as well as Dex Finance and their amazing auto vaults that they have developed. They're a mix between and balancer pools where not only is auto compounding, but it's also rebalancing in between the LPs. And so all this technology will be integrated into the DEX itself. And this is revolutionary. I mean, we're not going to have an AMM like PancakeSwap or Uniswap. It will function more like a centralized exchange, but where you actually own your crypto. Again, your keys, you still have ownership through your keys of your assets. So again, this is all super revolutionary and different. And again, one of the most exciting things is, to your point, typically to reward LP providers, you have to reward another token. For instance, PancakeSwap, they have the Cake token, and so Cake rewards LP providers, but it's highly inflationary. It's very speculative, and really, it's up to PancakeSwap to buy or burn that Cake token if they want to, or maybe they don't. And so PancakeSwap actually makes the majority of the fees. I mean, again, PancakeSwap does about $400,000 a day in fees. So what we're going to do is we're using L1X as the native asset of the exchange itself. So now, by having providing liquidity through our DEX, you're rewarded in L1X. And so this again will happen through the fees that the exchange is able to produce, and it provides immediate use case for L1X as well. So again, very different economics, but all to pump L1X over time.
Right, right. And so for people that may be just a part of the EMP money community or part of the Dex Finance community, talk to us from a holder perspective. What does this mean for the holders, and how does this trickle back into the EMP system? And kind of what I'm gathering from this before you go, AJ, is kind of what you guys have invested. That money will be kind of like external revenue that you guys could use to put back into EMP ecosystem. Is that kind of how that would work?
Totally. So there's a few points, Mike. Number one, yeah, because we had an early opportunity, we've invested a substantial amount into the pre-sale from the EMP Treasury, and that alone, on launch, we got in the same price that all of you are going to be able to get in at 10 cents, and they're hoping to launch at 50 cents. which is already at 5x. And again, because of the vesting schedule, we don't envision a pump and dump. If anything, I think L1X could really take off because it will be needed for the gas token of the chain. But yeah, that will be the number one thing is that price appreciation as an investment for EMP. But more so, what I'm excited about is because we're building the DEX out, both DEX Finance and EMP will have equity in the DEX. And so we'll have a portion of the fees. Again, the large majority of fees will go to liquidity providers because we want to make sure we have very deep liquidity on multiple chains. But a portion of that will go towards our treasuries as pure income. So now you're essentially owning part of this exchange by owning either EMP or DEX Finance and being involved in those ecosystems. So all the revenue that we generate will be real revenue, again, based on volume, not based on, Ponzi-nomics or new users. As long as we're doing volume on that exchange, that will be daily fees every day that will come back to support the EMP ecosystem, either through EMP or eShare or Detonator or any of our other contracts that are in EMP. So yeah, I mean it's bullish, and people are already accumulating more EMP now to have exposure to the DEX as well. So
Awesome, awesome. And then I'm assuming that also help with, the repeg of EMP, of course, and all of that. And it just makes everything better, APRs, everything else.
absolutely, brother. Yeah, the higher price of eShare, the higher the APRs in the farms, and it will have a positive effect where because of all the revenue streams, they will outweigh any potential selling pressure on EMP. And we even have another wave of development at EMP we're calling EMP Fusion. I know we've teased it a few times on your channel. We'll be back for a full deep dive when we're ready. But that will be again another way that we're able to not only recover peg but also maintain peg. What we feel is indefinitely.
Awesome, awesome. And so, and this is an assume, I'm not sure. Is the DEX gonna also, I'm guessing, gonna launch the same day of Layer 1X blockchain? Is that how that's supposed
It
to work?
It will be. Yep, day one we are, and again we're already building now. We have an MVP, a minimal viable product that we're already coding on the test net. So yeah, the launch date is scheduled for August of this year. So we have a few more months away, but we're all ahead of schedule already, as well as L1X itself. And so yeah, we will be launching literally on day one, and because we are the launch DEX. Again, Uniswap was the launch DEX of ETH, or became the launch DEX. PancakeSwap was the launch DEX of BNB, and so we're going to be the launch DEX of L1X, and that is really important because it will be launching on day one. All of that volume will be going through our exchange. So again, in crypto, everybody is able to build whatever they want, but usually it's about first mover advantage. So if you're the launch DEX, you usually establish yourself as the number one DEX.
Yeah, well said, well said. And that's just huge, man, to just think about how many tokens are vested, how many is going to be in circulation. It's the native, currency for layer 1x gas governance.
For
And then
sure.
also it's going to be the native token for the DEX, the launch DEX as well. So I mean, that's a lot of buy pressure on that token, man, or on that currency itself, on
Totally.
that crypto coin.
Yep,
So
and absolutely, and unless you're in the pre-sale, again, the only way to get this token is to buy it. So not only is that great for price, but it's also great for the volume and the fees of the DEX because you'll have to get it. All the initial liquidity will only be available on our exchange. So that's again super bullish.
yeah, yeah. And so to kind of go back to layer 1x here a little bit, AJ. So from a developer standpoint, when developers say, hey, I don't want to have to, rebuild all of this, which you've already talked about and said they only have to update a few lines of code. How do you see this go along? How do you see this playing out when it comes for the adoption aspect once it launched? What do you think maybe the biggest challenge would be, for Layer 1X? Do you think it would be adoption, or do you think it would maybe bringing developers over to know that, hey, this blockchain is able to do everything that you're wanting to do? Like, what do you think the biggest challenge would be for Layer 1X?
Totally. I think, and this is an awesome question. So, twofold. I think number one, in a best case scenario, I think L1X is probably not prepared for the amount of insane volume that it may have literally on day one. I mean, again, if they're able to deliver on what they're saying, we could see a ton of volume and hype, and users come to L1X, which that would be a great problem to have. But on the other side of that, yeah, I mean, I think, you know this, Mike. I mean, one of the reasons I'm sure you started your channel, it's about getting the word out there. And so that I think is also, you know, what L1X needs to still do, is really get everybody educated on how more powerful this is, and that it isn't just a copy and paste of an EVM chain. They have literally built their own virtual machine over the last 2.5 years to be able to accomplish all of what this code of the interoperability and the speed that is able to do. So yeah, I think marketing is always big when marketing, right? So yeah, I'm sure they'll be doing a lot of that. And we're just so early. I mean, this pre-sale, they've purposely made it to where they're offering it to the little guy. I mean, we're all DeFi users, and they want to get the pre-sale tokens into people's hands that are actually using crypto, not a VC or venture capitalist, that's only looking to dump on launch. So that was another reason why L1X did a pre-sale like this, again through smaller communities.
Yeah, and so before we kind of get into the pre-sale real quick, shout out to Jay Gagan, another awesome friend of mine, content creator, makes a lot of great content, man. Talks mainly about community tokens. So shout out to him, man. Appreciate you tuning in today. And then we got Crypto Pride talks about, hey, Mike and AJ, appreciate you tuning in as well. So AJ, let's kind of talk about the pre-sale for people that may say, hey, Mike, AJ, this sounds good. How do I get involved? So let's kind of talk about that a little bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, bro. Again, where do we ape, right? That's what people want to know. So
Yeah.
yeah, we are offering a pre-sale through EMP. So because of our relationship with L1X, and again, being the launch DEX, we're trying to get a lot of that initial liquidity out there. We are offering a pre-sale. So this is running concurrently with the pre-sale through L1X themselves. But the one on L1X, you have to actually KYC. So with our pre-sale, there is no KYC, which again is massive. So and the way we're able to do that and still stay compliant is that we run the investment through a trust account that EMP has set up. We then KYC to L1X, and then they distribute the tokens to us, and then we distribute the tokens to all of you through a decentralized smart contract. So again, we're able to stay compliant. L1X is able to stay compliant, and all of you can get involved without having any KYC. So yeah, this is our main pre-sale page. Again, we've already raised $1.3 million, almost 1.4, and so you're getting in at literally the lowest price. This is the same price that I got in at 10 cents. There was only one additional round for founders that was at 8 cents. But again, some of those tokens are vested for 30 years. So again, we're trying to get as many people into the pre-sale as possible so that they're actually using the token. And the launch price will be 50 cents. And so the only other caveat is these tokens will be vested for 15 months. So what that means is linearly vested is the same amount every month. So if you invested $1,500, you would get $100 of L1X token per month for 15 months. So you can't get it all at once and dump, but it also forces you to hodl a little because we could see L1X appreciate massively just based on historical data.
The use case.
Yeah, the average of a layer one chain is a 42x. So that would be over a $5 L1X token, which would be amazing. So and again, that's
Not
only the
financial
beginning.
advice.
Yeah, it's not financial advice. So yeah, and there is a minimum of $100 per wallet and a maximum of 50K per wallet. So yeah, absolutely, Mike.
Man, thanks for breaking that down. And just to be correct, the page we're looking at right now, this will be the page for people to go to if they want to do no KYC, no know your customer. Is that correct?
Correct, brother. So this
Okay.
is our pre-sale again. No KYC, and you can deposit on all four of the top chains: BNB, Matic, AVAX, and ETH, and it's USDC or USDT. If you want to use dirty fiat, you can go to L1X themselves. So yeah,
And then in that case, you will also have the KYC if you use the
you do.
fiat.
Yep,
Okay.
you have, and if you're an American, there is a few other steps that you go through, or it has to be through again USD or some sort of an LLC or other business entity.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So yeah, most people I'm guessing will probably want to go the no KYC way, of
Yeah, no
course.
doubt.
So
Totally.
yeah.
So, and again, you can find all the links in the L1X Discord as well. We are, an approved pre-sale partner with them, and we, again, everybody will get their tokens distributed when the chain launches. So that's another point to make. There is some opportunity cost where, you aren't going to be able to have access to that capital until the chain launches. So once that happens, that's when the vesting schedule will begin. So you're not earning that any tokens back until the chain goes live. So yeah, and really any whatever wallet that you contribute with, that will be the wallet that you get credit for on L1X. So just like you're able to change your RPC on MetaMask, we'll have an RPC and it will be compatible with MetaMask for L1X mainnet. So, but L1X is also launching their own wallet, which is really exciting as well because MetaMask is not, compatible with multiple chains in one interface. So again, L1X will be able to show you all the native assets on every chain that you have. So that's another reason they're doing it. And if you deposit more than $1,000 to the pre-sale, you are whitelisted for that premium wallet. So you'll have access to that wallet first.
Alpha. And I gotta stretch a little bit. Is there any ETA on that wall? Is that this year, next year, potentially?
Yeah, so I think the plan, and again, don't quote me on this, but I think the plan is to launch with the chain. So
Oh,
it would
nice.
still be August of this year, maybe a little bit later, but yeah, they're working on it really hard.
Okay. Okay. And just to be clear, so if you're invested in the pre-sale or the pre-sale or the launch price, both of those are invested for 15 months. Is that correct?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct. So yeah, if you get in, the only way they would not be vested is if you buy on launch. So if you're buying tokens at day one, then you're free to buy and sell as you wish. But any pre-sale or subsequent sale before mainnet, those tokens will be vested.
Okay. Okay. Well, man, I think we covered a lot, on Layer 1X. I would definitely like to get Jake on from Dex Finance and then also Montu from Layer 1X as well.
Yeah,
Just because
brother,
there's some
absolutely.
Yeah, there's some parameters there we can kind of dig a little bit deeper on, far as like the mechanics, the consensus mechanism, and all of that, right? Kind of like how it's different from other chains that say they have interoperability, like Thor chain and things of that nature. So would be curious to kind of hear, their output. Not sure if you can touch on that a little bit, AJ.
Yeah, totally. So we've seen a lot of other chains make claims, Thorchain, Cosmos, Polkadot, and yeah, I mean they've been fully transparent on the L1X side, their team, on how they're actually able to accomplish this in a much more again decentralized manner. So it probably would be better to have Matu say he's the COO for L1X. He'll probably do a better job explaining it. But yeah, we'll definitely be back on the channel, Mike. I know today was a little crazy, but we'll have Matu and Jake join us as well. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So, as we get ready to close out, AJ, is there anything else you want people to know about? Maybe something you maybe forgot to talk about earlier on the stream, because I know we were kind of got in on a crazy moment. And then if there's any lay community questions as well, definitely go ahead and let us know down in the live stream.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to take a few questions at the very end here, but I think we did a great job covering it, man. Yeah, Mike, you're always so prepared, bro. I really appreciate you doing your due diligence before we jump on. But yeah, I mean, we're always building. You know, one thing I do want to mention is we're not abandoning EMP by any means. If anything, this makes EMP even more valuable and more strong. We're going to be building the DEX, side by side with EMP. Um, and that's another reason why we partnered with Dex Finance. They have a very talented dev team that's already underway coding the Dex. And because we're a launch partner with L1X, we also get access to their engineers as well. So we'll have plenty of talent to pull it off. And now it's just a matter of what we can dream up to build some cool shit into the
Awesome.
decks for sure.
Sounds good. Well, AJ, man, it's always a pleasure, man, talking with you, talking crypto, blockchain, man, and look forward to the next time we can do this again, man.
All right, awesome, Mike. Thank you again, bro, and we will be back for sure, my friend.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too.